share some things maybe that you don't know about me. One thing is that I have a goal to climb the highest mountain on each of the 7 continents, known as the 7 summits. I've only have one of those to go, Antarctica, and I plan to do that this upcoming Thanksgiving. But of the 6 that I've done, the hardest 12 days of my life, was just this last October doing Karsten's Pyramid, which is the highest mountain on the continent of Australasia in New Guinea. It was 12 days non-stop. Now I've summited Mount Everest, and if you took the hardest 12 days on Mount Everest, that would be the hardest 12 days of my life on a mountain, but not consecutively. We were at Everest for 3 months. But on Karsten's, 12 days, it was 45 miles in, it was 45 miles out. It was a 5'9" rock climb at the very end, for those of you that have rock climbed. It included a Tyrolean traverse, which is going across the rope with your, hand over hand, and a couple 100-foot drop. So anyway, and it rained about 7 inches of rain a day. It rained 24 inches of rain the second to the last day we were there on the mountain. It was jungle, it was slip, and it was slide, and it was really, really dangerous. And putting it in perspective, there were 4 paid clients. We all paid $27,000 a piece to do this. But at the top of day 3 of these 12 days, 2 of the 4 had to be evacuated at an additional cost of 20 grand. Now, this was all spelled out ahead of time, but this was how difficult it was. And then the guide later on in the day said, if you think that was bad, he said, last summer I was here with 6 paid clients, 4 of whom bailed on day 1. So anyway, I point this out to you because I want you to know that I'm a no-quit kind of a guy. I really am no-quit. And I'm also a competitor. I think of myself as a fierce competitor. And I would like to share with you the fact that I am a gas balloonist. I've flown in gas balloon competitions out of Albuquerque and in the World Championships out of France. But gas balloon, not hot air balloon, but gas balloon, where you take off from Albuquerque and the object is to fly as far as you can from Albuquerque before you land. And when you land, that's the end of the competition. But we made several thousand, we made 3 2,000-mile flights. And this was extremely dangerous. And I would like to point out to you, maybe one of the last times I was in Kansas was balloon competition out of Albuquerque. We're flying. We're into the night in Kansas, and into the second night in Kansas, and we're flying into a cloud. And my pilot, Richard Abruzzo, arguably the best gas balloonist in the world at the time, and he died in the World Championships 3 years ago, 10 days before we were supposed to fly in another flight. So this is an extremely dangerous sport. We're flying over Kansas. We're about here from Wichita, and we're flying into a cloud, and all of a sudden we fly into the cloud, and it's a blizzard. And this is in October, right? 1st of October. It's a blizzard. The balloon becomes laden with snow and ice. We're at 17,000 feet. And we start dropping to the deck, as in the earth, at 3,000 feet a minute. I mean, we're going to die. We're going to die. And these gas balloons are so unwieldy that if you, at the end of one of these gas balloon flights, if you were to throw out a handful of sand, the balloon would go up 500 feet. That's how unwieldy these balloons would become. So we're headed to the deck at 3,000 feet a minute. Well, that's 5 minutes before we hit the ground at that speed from 17,000 feet. And we ready all these bags of sand, these 50-pound bags of sand. We've got 14 bags ready to let out as we get close to the earth. And when we got really close to the earth, we jettisoned these bags and we stayed right off the deck. I mean, we spent hours off the deck in Kansas, going over trees. We find ourselves climbing out finally, and in the morning we've climbed out, we get on the radio, we find out we're the only balloon left in the competition, that we've won the competition, so we end up and land. So reason I point this out is I'm a fierce competitor, there's no quit. And so let me talk about the presidential race last time for a second. It turns out that 90% of the time that I spent running for President of the United States, it turns out that 90% of the time that I spent over those 4 years trying to do that was wasted time. Now, I didn't know that at the time. I mean, I spent a lot of time doing a lot of things that, in retrospect, were wasted. Well, I want you to know that going forward, we're not doing any of the 90% expecting different results, okay? We know what works, and that isn't to say that it ends up working this time either, but it's a whole new 90%. And one of the real keys, and it's key here in Kansas and it's key everywhere, is Our America Initiative. I'm the honorary chairman of Our America Initiative. We're suing the Presidential Debates Commission right now. Really, from a fairness standpoint, if you mathematically can be elected President of the United States, then shouldn't you be in the debates? Because
Yes.
that entails a lot just to be on the ballot. And at a minimum, if they're basing the presidential debates on 15% in the polls, then at a minimum, doesn't those that potentially could be President of the United States, don't they have to be in the polls? So this is the basis that we're suing on. So whether it's me, and I would like you all to know, I would love to run for President of the United States again, but this suit that we have, regardless of who the Libertarian nominee is, whether it's me or somebody else, it's being able to have a Libertarian on stage making these, bringing out these points that we're all living and dying for, or will die for. And lastly, and you all can relate to this, my first recollection of politics, you know, you go to the debate, we go to the debate, and it's business people in Albuquerque, and I'm just a very young person, and it's the Republican, it's the Democrat, and there's a Libertarian. Well, the debate happens after the bar, you know, everybody's, well, who won the debate? And it's a group this size, and everybody in unison, well, the Libertarian won the debate, there wasn't any issue about that. But who are we going to vote for? Because the Libertarian's never going to win. Well, this is the opportunity that we've got right now is, come on, we do need to win because our ideas really are resonating. And if you look at marriage equality, if you look at marijuana legalization, if you look at military intervention, I mean, the president was girded along with Congress to go into Libya and Syria, and along comes an 80% poll, a poll that 80% of Americans don't want to have anything to do with that. Well, we can take credit for that as a Libertarian Party. So anyway, it's great to be here. This is in that 10%, okay? This is really valuable time, and I'm really appreciative of having an invitation, and I didn't say a thing right now that I'm going to say tomorrow night. So.